So finally we get to the most exciting part of this class, how to read EKGs and what an EKG is. An EKG is just simply a measure, or how physicians and health practitioners and whatnot, how they measure the electrical stimulation as it goes from the right atrium to the left ventricle and pushes out blood throughout the body. So this builds on everything we learned about the blood flow through the heart, the electrical stimulation follows the blood flow, and also now the EKG, which measures the electrical stimulation so we can actually see what it looks like. Okay, so an EKG, all it is 10 electrodes placed on your torso. One's placed on your left arm, one's placed on your right arm. You know where they're all placed by now. There's 10 electrodes, and it makes a 12-lead EKG. And the reason it does this is a 12-lead EKG shows different parts of the heart. Since the heart isn't just one little section, it's a pretty big heart. There's back parts, there's fronts, there's posteriors, all that stuff. The 12-lead EKG, each lead looks at a different section of the heart. Just like if you have someone looking at an elephant, which is the example they use in the book. If someone's looking at an elephant, you can't possibly see the whole giant elephant's, including its back, its front, its legs, whatever, in one eyesight. You have to notice every single part because it's many different parts. One EKG, that's what a 12-lead EKG is. Now we're just going to really fast go over how an EKG is formed, how they make an EKG to look at. So you have 10 electrodes placed on your body, or let's just look at 4 electrodes. Forget the chest leads. The chest leads are 6 other things placed that we don't really care about. But 6 of them are called limb leads, and there's lead 1, there's one called lead 2, one called lead 3, there's AVR, AVF, and AVL. So there's these 6 guys. These 6 guys are called limb leads or extremity leads, same thing. So they can be called limb leads or extremity leads. Limb or extremity, they mean the same thing. Extremity leads. Now the way they're formed is by placing 2 electrodes. You're looking at 2 electrodes to form each of these. You make one of the electrodes negative and one electrode positive, with the idea that negative brings a stimulation or electrical signal to a positive electrode. So it's very simple. You just have to memorize which ones are negative, which ones are positive, and how each are formed. Because there could possibly be questions on like how do you form lead 1, and you have to know like you've placed the right arm negative, the left arm positive, etc. So basically, to do this, we'll just draw a person. It's the easiest way to do it. So we have a person. Actually, we'll forget the face. Don't really care about the face. We'll just draw the torso. Okay. So you have this person. And then, of course, you have, this will be the right arm. This will be the left arm. And then you have the left leg, right leg. Okay. So now the EKGs are formed by placing 2 electrodes, or each lead by looking at 2 electrodes, making one negative, one positive, and watching how the signal moves. And the computer measures that signal, and then based on how the signal moves, it can detect the electrical stimulation of the heart and whatnot. But lead 1 is basically, what you do is you make one lead, you put one lead on the shoulder, on the right arm, make that negative. So you make it negative. And you make one on the left arm positive. Remember, it goes from negative to positive, which is what the signal moves. So that will make lead 1 0 degrees. And you're superimposing a circle on their chest. And I'll put the diagram with all the angles up in a second, but pretty much you're putting a circle on their chest, and you're saying the right arm is negative, which is on the shoulder, and you're saying the left shoulder arm, whatever, is positive, and you're moving from right to left. So that would be 0 degrees. Now to make lead 2, well, we'll just say 2. Lead 2 is 30 degrees. I'm sorry. Lead 2 is 60 degrees. So to make 60 degrees, if this is 0 degrees, 60 degrees will be going 0 degrees, 9 degrees will be going down, so 60 degrees will be like right here. So in order to make that, you have to go from negative to positive, remember. So you keep the right arm as negative, but you make an electrode down here as positive. So that'll be right arm negative, left leg, or LL positive, and that'll put lead 2 at 60 degrees. Now lead 3 Lead 3 is going, so you have 0 degrees, 60 degrees. AVR will go down later, is going down, but lead 3 is going like this. So lead 3 is 120 degrees. In order to make 120 degrees, you can't do the right arm being negative, the left arm has to be negative. Because it's going straight down and 120 degrees. So the left arm is negative, now the right leg is positive. You now be 120 degrees. Now there's a few other leads. There's AVR, AVL, and AVF. Now these leads aren't specifying whether it's right arm, left arm, is just specifying as the chest, or two things. What that means is they're called augmented leads. So what that means is, so AVF goes straight down, is 90 degrees. So remember, it goes from negative to positive, so that means the chest is negative and the legs are positive. Not any specific leg, just the legs are positive. And that'll make it 90 degrees straight down. And now AVL is going into the negative, so AVL is around negative 120. Wait, is that correct? Let's see. 0, 60, 0, 60, 90, 120. Let's switch to AVR first. AVR is negative 150, so AVR is going this way. Now in order to do that, it has to make the right leg positive. I'm sorry. It has to go from that way. It has to make it goes from negative to positive. So the right leg is negative, and the left arm is positive. So actually, instead of doing all this, we'll just do an easier diagram. Okay, so this is the easier diagram to look at. So you have lead 1 right here at 0 degrees. Lead 2 going at 60 degrees. Lead 3 going at 120 degrees. And those are the 3 leads. And then AVF going straight down. AVR going at negative 150. And AVL going at 30. So see, they look at different views of the heart, or 6 views of the heart. And now, to look at all the negatives and whatnot, AV lead 1, I'll write this out, these formulas, because they may be worth knowing. Lead 1 is made by making the right arm, and we'll do it another way. Okay, so, diagram. Okay, so lead 1 is made from making the left arm is positive, and right arm is negative. So this is the formula for lead 1. What this shows is left arm positive, right arm negative. It goes from negative to positive, so it'll go right across the body. Now lead 2 is going 60 degrees, so that's making the 60 degrees, so that would be making the right arm negative and the left leg positive. So you can write that as left leg positive minus right arm. So that's the formula for lead 2. Left leg, because if the left leg is positive, remember it's going from negative to positive. So from going the right arm, if the right arm is negative, it goes down and diagonal of 60 degrees right here. So you have the right arm over here, negative, positive. So it's just memorizing. This is just really memorization. But the way I do it is whenever I'm thinking of what is positive, what is negative, I actually look at my own chest, or use my own chest as an example, and you put a circle on your chest, and it's this. So you put this circle on your chest, pretty much just superimposing it, and saying, okay, so if I make my left arm, and I just like put my arm on my left arm, if I make my left arm negative and my right arm positive, it will go straight across my chest, and like a parallel to the ground, and that'll be 0 degrees. So it'll go just like this. So this would be my left side of my body. This would be my right side of my body. So that's how it superimposes. So if you make the right arm negative, it goes straight across the left arm, which is positive. So it always goes from negative to positive. To make a lead, you're only looking at two different electrodes. And now to do this, this is going to the legs. And if you look in your body and superimpose it, this would have to be going to the left leg. So the left leg would have to be positive, and the right arm will have to be negative. Because if the right arm is negative, it'll go kind of diagonally to 60 degrees. So that's just memorizing leads. And then AVF, of course, goes straight down, that, and that. And these are called now lead 1, 2, 3, AVR, AVL, AVF. Okay, these are called limb leads. We already went over. Also called extremity leads. Extremity leads. Now there's another type of leads called unipolar. Now unipolar leads are all leads except 1, 2, and 3. That doesn't really look like 1, 2, 3. But it's all leads except 1, 2, and 3. Now there's also 6 other leads called the chest leads. Now the chest leads are not using this circle. Chest leads are created kind of differently. When you look at a 12 lead EKG, chest leads are those leads on the right side, which are called like V1, V2, V3, V4, 5, 6. So V1 through V6 are called chest leads. Chest leads are formed not by making one electrode positive and one electrode negative. They're formed just by looking at different orientations of the heart. So, but I can't really explain how they're formed, but they're formed by placing 6 electrodes going around the heart, and then they would form in that way. And they look mostly at the left ventricles and the side of the heart. It's mostly focused on the left ventricle and whatnot. But if you look in the heart, you draw your heart, now how the leads actually look. Lead 1 is looking like right across the heart, like this. So just superimposing it. Lead 2 will be looking diagonally on the heart. Lead 3 will be, AVF will be looking down. AVR will be looking in the right atrium of the heart, going that way. AVL will be looking this way of the heart, or the left atrium. And the chest leads, how they're formed, the chest leads are, they're like 1, 2, they're formed like this. These are the chest leads. So they're looking mostly at the left ventricle and the kind of like the left atrium. So that's what the chest leads are. So really, it helps to read the EKG book, and it explains it pretty well. Like that's one of the only books in college that actually were worth buying for me. And the EKG book explains it very well, how the leads are formed, what the leads are looking at, and everything. So this is just a basic of how the leads are formed and whatnot. Okay, and also for this circle, memorize this circle because you need to know the angles, the exact angles. It's not just the angles of the leads like 0, 60, 120, AV 30, negative 30, negative 50, 90. You have to remember. You also have to know the negatives going backwards, like negative 90, whatnot. So the corresponding negatives. Reason being because when you do the mean axis and axis deviation, you have to know. Well, not really the axis deviation. When you do the mean axis, you have to know the lines going backwards.